Alright, so today I want to share with you some of the upgrades that I've made to my reptile room, and you may see the first one directly behind me, and those are the blue feeding cards over here. I've been working hard to actually make them and put them on all my tubs. You can see I don't have them on my hatchling rack. I just started putting them over here. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about them quite a bit, trying to figure out the best system to really track feeding so I can see in a glance what one particular snake is eating at any one certain time. As a matter of fact, I can just show you one. They're basically attached with Velcro, and I can just pull them off. Originally, I was going to do a double-sided tape, and then I thought cleaning tubs would be pretty tough if these were permanently attached to the tub. So I put Velcro on one side and then put Velcro on the tubs. And I actually changed the card. If you saw one of my earlier videos, I actually kind of showed like a preliminary card, and I actually went with a little more information on the card. So if you take a kind of a close look here, essentially what it is I have every month at the top, and then I have like a line for every week. So for example, January has 5 lines. That is 5 different weeks for January. Even though they're not labeled, there's really not a lot of room on the card to actually label it, and you kind of have to figure out just kind of at a glance what it means versus writing all the information down. So this is kind of the easiest way. This is a whole entire year in one card, and you can actually feed up to 3 rodents per week on this card. I don't think I'll be feeding more than 3 in 1 week for any one particular snake. That's probably the maximum. So essentially what you do is every time you feed, you check the little box right under January. If it's the first week of January, in the first line, you check a box on that line. So then you can kind of see at a quick glance everything they've eaten over the entire year just looking at the card. And originally I was kind of debating on whether or not to get this kind of a holder, like a plastic holder like this. As a matter of fact, I've seen a lot of people where they just put the card right on the tub. I don't know if they actually put Velcro on the cards and then move the cards around. The problem is the cards get kind of beat up, and the other thing is if it gets wet, sometimes you can actually lose a lot of your information on the card. I've seen some people using cards that are pretty beat up, and I finally went with this. So I'm kind of changing things as I go along. The one thing that I really struggled with these cards so far, I've actually haven't even used these yet. I just started putting them on my tubs, and the one thing is it's kind of hard to actually get the card out of the sleeve. You kind of have to kind of bend it open a little bit and then pull it out. So I was thinking if I actually didn't put it in all the way, left a little bit out so I could move it in and out, or what I was actually thinking is putting like a piece of tape or some kind of maybe a little colored tab on the card where I can just kind of pull it out and then make a check mark and then slide it back in, and then it'd be really easy. Now I'm kind of combining this with my binder clip method. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep all the binder clips. You see there's binder clips on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and feed, and if a snake takes a rodent, I'm going to move that binder clip over to the right, and then I'll come back in about a half an hour, make sure they've actually eaten that rodent, and if they have, I'll move that binder clip back in the middle and then make a check mark on the box. And if they don't eat, then I'll just move the binder clip over to the left, and then after I'm done feeding, I can go back and then move all my clips back to the middle and then kind of start over, and I have it all recorded on the card versus looking at all my binder clips on every single tub. And then the hard thing about the binder clips was I could kind of see at a glance what was going on in the last month or two, but it kind of got lost when I reset the system, and this is a little bit more permanent. As a matter of fact, I could probably file these away when I'm done, maybe put the name of the snake on the top and then file them away, and I know historically what the snake's been eating. I think it'll be a little bit better than actually writing it down in some kind of a journal or a logbook. So that's one thing I've been working on really hard, is to make my life easier. There's several ways you can track information. I think this is going to be probably the easiest way for me. Another upgrade that I made in my reptile room is actually right above me. Take a look at this. This is something new that I got. It's right on the ceiling. This is, as a matter of fact, there's a lot of people that were, you know, looking at my setup and they're like, hey, you could have a fire hazard with all those heat strips and electrical cords and everything. And essentially what this is it's a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector all in one. And these cost about 40 bucks brand new, pretty cheap insurance. The funny thing is that these newer versions of smoke detectors, they actually have 10-year batteries in them, and the sensor inside only lasts for 10 years. So if you have smoke detectors in your house that are over 10 years old, even if you change the battery and stay on top of it, chances are that the sensor is not good anymore if it's over 10 years old. So the cool thing about this is when the battery dies, it's time to throw this away and replace it with another one, which is really cool. And the other thing I really like about this is it just kind of slips right into the bracket, and you can turn it and it goes right into, let's see if I can actually do it. You just kind of turn it and it goes right into the bracket. And the funny thing is it comes turned off, and when you turn it on into the bracket, it turns on for the first time. There's some kind of a sensor in there, which is pretty cool. And I actually put a little label on it. It expires in 10 years, so I can just look at it and say, hey, I'm getting close to the expiration, time to throw it away and get another one. And I've actually had smoke detectors through the house, but I'm pretty sure all my smoke detectors are probably about 15 years old since I moved in. I don't think I changed any smoke detectors, and I didn't really have one here in the snake room. So I think it's a really good idea, especially with all this electrical stuff down here. And, you know, I have water up on top of my rat racks and then electricity down the bottom. You know, it could really get bad if something goes, if you have some problems with the electricity and the water, or even just the heat mats shorting out, you could run into some problems. I haven't had any problems yet. I've been breeding snakes for about 5 years. I haven't had one single problem with any heat mats or anything burning out, which is pretty fortunate. It's just kind of insurance, and you figure 40 bucks over 10 years, it's only like $4 a year for insurance, you know, so you can actually hear if something's going on with smoke or carbon monoxide. So one more thing I kind of wanted to show you is a quick hack on my rodent racks. I've been having problems with the water nozzle, and I want to show you how I fixed that. So this is part of my rat rack where I keep all my rats and mice, and I've been having a problem with these nozzles popping out of here, coming out of these. It's kind of like an expanded metal in here, and then the nozzle fits right in here, and these actually sometimes they pop out. The problem is if the rat pops them out and then it lands on top over here and activates the little drinking valve, it floods the tub. I've actually had one tub flood. I have a few of them that are kind of, popping out here and there, and I always have to go through and look at all the little nozzles to make sure they're all still in there so I don't have any problems. And I found a quick hack to actually fix this. You put the nozzle in there, and then you just take a flathead screwdriver and you kind of go back and forth on the little piece of metal right next to it, and it moves that piece of metal over. And I don't know what Bobby's doing here on the light. What are you doing, you crazy snake? Oh, Bobby's in here checking out the rats. She's like, hey, I want some of those rats. Crazy snake. But anyway, I figured out, I was trying to figure out if I could use some kind of a spring or a clip or something on here. I really couldn't find anything, and I found out it's just so simple. I just take this and kind of open up the little holes right next to the nozzle, and it pushes this over and kind of sticks it in there. And the only way to get it out now is to actually put the screwdriver in and kind of wedge it to get it out. But I thought that was a really quick fix to hold the nozzle in there. Alright, so there you have it. Those are some of the upgrades that I've been making here in my reptile room. And it's pretty funny, I've been actually breeding snakes for about 5 years, still making some upgrades. I always like to figure out, how to streamline things, make it simplified, and to make things safer with the smoke detector. I feel a little bit better having a smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector in my room, especially since I have so much stuff in here that runs on electricity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with some drone footage. This time I actually crawled up into my tree stand up in the trees. I think I had a little bit better reception flying that drone from up in a tree. The problem was it was a really windy day, and when the wind was blowing, that tree stand was rocking back and forth. I'm not sure how stable that tree stand is. It's been there for about 15 years, still holding strong. It's made of steel, kind of still freaks me out though since it's been there for so long and kind of sways in the wind. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Thank you.